Greetings. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Switch to Linux. Well, we are here on another supporter stream, and we got a bunch of folks on. How's it going, guys? Are we ready to talk web browsers and stuff eventually here? Do we need to get? Does anybody need like group therapy support with the craziness of the current modern world, or are we good? We're all good.
I'm already getting it.
All right. We're good.
50-50.
All right, so we'll take a break from the insanity of the world and talk about web browsers. Before we start, I did go ahead last night and I did pre-order me one of those Pine tabs with a keyboard case. So we'll see how it looks when it shows up. If it shows up, they said that'd be, I don't know, like August-ish or so. So keep you guys up to date, and hopefully we can put something other than like the Ubuntu UB ports on it. But we'll see. We'll see what we can do with the Pine tab when it comes out. Tech Haberdashy, do you have pros, cons? You're the one here with Pine products. Should I be concerned?
I have the Pinebook Pro. From what I've seen online, the Pine Tab is a much more mature product and it's coming along quite nicely. Okay. I kind of toyed with the idea of getting one and doing and also the Pine phone, but I'm kind of in the middle of some other things at the moment. I'm trying to get Android like AOSP 10 on this Blue phone, which
okay.
difficult because Blue does not support their devices very well.
Yeah,
so
gotcha.
Rooting
I do have. I finally downloaded EOS to throw on one of my Nexus devices. I want to go ahead and look at EOS. They've actually been very patient with me, emailing me. They actually offered to send me a promo, and I was like, I have 4 Nexus 5X phones laying around. I'll just download it and install it. But that was like right when I was in the final push of getting the book out, and so it's like, and they kept on emailing me. I'm like, look, I am not doing anything other than my basic video schedule and my science fiction novel. When that's done, I'll start looking at your stuff again. So that's done. So I downloaded it. I have downloaded it, and I will actually be installing it. I might install it over the weekend. I'm trying to figure out if I want to do a video of installing it or if I just want to do a video reviewing it. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. So we'll figure that out. Also, for anybody that did not get the email I sent out, if you were on my advanced reader copy team, then I do have my first couple round of the science fiction novel in. So if you were on my advanced reader copy team, send me your address and I will mail you out your physical copy. And I will get those guys out to you. So hopefully
stuff,
I sent the first round of them out today for the addresses I had, and I'll probably make the next post office run maybe Monday or Tuesday. So if you want to get me your address by Monday or Tuesday, if you were on the advanced reader copy team, then I'll send those out to you. So, and I did not actually grab me a copy for the show today, but it's greater than half an inch thick, so it's actually a pretty thick book. So that's that. All right. Let's go ahead and check in on the comments. You guys give me some ideas here. Will I see if there's any major comments we want to chat about? So anybody else anything else to talk about before we get into the web browsers?
Before
I
we
hate
go
the way they want to update every
okay,
month.
Dan? Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
World of Linux, or is it World of Unix these days? Whatever your name is now.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, well, macOS isn't bad on updates, but I'm constantly just getting updates for everything. Android got a new update, and then there's app updates, and then you got updates for firmware, then they got updates for drivers. Even on macOS, you do have to update some drivers. Amazingly, like
they're just embedding all the contact tracing stuff in, so that
Yeah, probably.
Indeed. All right. Let's see. What else do we got? Did a good video topic. I guess Fram's work. Derek. Oh wait. Somebody did a good video topic about it. Derek, like DT Derek, did a video topic. I don't know. Mark, I'm hard. Are you talking to somebody else or what? Somebody did a good topic about it, I guess. Okay. Let's see. Opera features are cool, but since it's proprietary and from China's company, it's kind of a little shady. Yeah, one of the things that I noticed in the past is they were pushing their affiliate links. Same thing. Brave Browser had a scandal this week. If you didn't catch that video, although the last time we were playing around with it, because I was testing Vivaldi, I was testing a few other ones, and actually I found Opera did not actually do that at this point in time. So, whatever that's worth. UKB just watched the PS5 router trailer. What's that? Tech?
I was gonna say, what about the rumors of the data mining that Opera is supposed to be doing?
Yeah, we're probably going to be talking a lot about that.
Okay.
Tor
Well,
Browser.
Yeah, if somebody else has it, I did not pull up anything up on that. I did not get a chance to see any of that. So I pulled up articles on Brave, on the Google Incognito thing, which we covered briefly in the news, but we'll cover it again for anybody that missed the news section. And I pulled up information on the annoyance that is the new Firefox. It makes me want to go off myself somewhere in the woods.
I was going to talk to you about that. We can get to that later.
All right.
Yeah, I'm
sweet.
having some annoyance
those-
problems with that thing too.
Those are on my list of things, and then of course anything else related to web browsers that you guys have. If you guys shoot me stuff in the chat here in the private chat, then I'll go ahead and queue those up when we get to them. So I have a few articles pulled up already. Possibly next week, guys, just a general maintenance thing. We will have a new screen on. So this will be the last time you see the nice soothing water running in the background. I've developed a new screen for these chats, so we'll be pushing that out starting next week. And I got the one of them done, and I got almost I got it right to that final point. I'm like, that was looking good, and the computer had a kernel panic, and I lost it all.
Yeah, it looked like I'm having a burial at sea.
Yeah, and so I did rebuild the one screen, but I don't have the article screen built yet. So we'll get that. So next week we'll have a much nicer format for this show, and we'll see if we can maybe get rid of some of the lagginess too. But anyway, let's see, Necromancer. No, Kitty, you're out of here. But Kitty's down here. Kitty, where's Kitty? Where's Kitty? He was just here a second ago. Sorry, Necromancer. You will see the kitty. You just got to hang out. We'll feed the kitty. You guys remind me to feed the kitty then. Windows users think Chromium is a virus or fake Chrome causes because you can't get the original exe from the Chromium website. I thought you could. I know we did something. There you go, Necromancer. See, don't leave, Necromancer. We got the kitty. See, there you go. Kitty's here. All right. I know we installed it on a friend of mine's Windows computer without having to compile it from source, so you can get it. I'm just not sure where we got it. We probably downloaded it from some shady place, It was a virus. Who knows? Wondering if there are any Amish sci-fi novels. Probably not ebook or Audible. Don't see Dissenter in the thumbnail video. No, I did not. I did not put Dissenter in there. What are you doing? Are you playing with my pen caps, Kitty? The kitty's over here playing with my pen caps. Opera was bought by a Chinese company. Yes, Opera was bought by a Chinese company 3 or 4 years ago. It was a long time ago.
I was just looking that up. I didn't realize it was in 2016 when it happened.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. About ready to throw Firefox out the window. Oh, I'm telling you, Firefox is starting to piss me off.
No, fam. I have the solution for you. Don't do that.
All right. Sure you do.
I do.
Yeah, there's two solutions. So they have. No, we'll get to Firefox. I don't want to tip my hand yet. I don't want to tip my hand yet. All right. Let's see. Been using Vivaldi exclusively the last 6 months. I love the whole browsing experience. For whatever reason, my Vivaldi just doesn't work. I can't use it. It's completely non-functional. Every other time I load a web page, I get the dead bird. Every page.
It works everywhere for me.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe that's Arch or whatever else, and I do have the Vivaldi
you're using it on Arch?
installed. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe I need to scrap whatever I have, and maybe I need to.
It works if you use a Debian-based system and go get the Deb package.
Yeah, I'm sure if I were running if I had my LMDE or something, I'm sure it'd work fine. But on Arch, I can't get it to run. Any Arch users that are using Vivaldi, let me know which build, where you got it from, things like that. I'd be interested because I want to add Vivaldi to my mix of browsers. It's non-functional on my system right now. All right, which browser should we start on? Anybody?
Wheel of browsers.
Wheel of browsers. $5 fee strictly for kitty treats. We have here a giant bag of kitty treats.
Necromancer gets to decide then, huh?
All right, that will be used. That will be used to buy some kitty treats, Necromancer. Thank you for that super chat.
Come on down.
All right. So, Necromancer, give us the idea. Which web browser should we tackle first? All right. Let's see. Tired of Firefox. Deleted it from all my systems. Yeah, it's just it's becoming horrible. Mark just jumped on. Greetings, Mark. How's it going? Let's see. Firefox is only powerful and well-known alternative to Chrome and its Blink engine. All the other browsers are not. Yeah. All right.
If you're on the free
Let's-
internet,
Let's go ahead and get Firefox out of the way, shall we? All right. So Firefox, if you guys haven't followed along with Firefox stuff, my biggest concern, like, they keep on doing a lot of weird stuff. It's like, I'm really not interested in this, people. Like, stop doing stupidity. But for whatever reason, this brand new giant URL bar, it's just, it invokes rage in my heart. Does it invoke rage in anybody else's heart?
No.
Yeah. I think I don't use
do.
advanced features.
It's not an advanced
It's-
feature.
It kind
they're
of
pushing
jumps
it out.
right out like it wants to give you a kiss.
I know. It's just like, I don't know, but I hate it. It's just like, I hate it. Now, when they first pushed it out in 75, I think they first pushed out, there was a toggle switch that you could get in there, and you could be like, oh, turn that off, and you could revert the thing back to pre-75, which was in there for like 2 versions, and then they pulled that ability out. So you can't go in there and easily just go, hey, just disable that stupid crap. Because for whatever reason, they want to turn it into like Edge or something that doesn't even display the full URLs. I don't let it live on my systems long enough to know, but it's going to give you a pop down of things you've searched for. It's like, I don't want that. There's not a good way to do that. And then it's horribly ugly as sin. It covers everything over and it's annoying. And so I've had to fight and struggle with how to get rid of this. Tech, what is the solution you had found for it?
I was going to say use Opera ESR.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Firefox ESR.
Opera
not
ESR.
Not
Well, the
Opera,
problem with
my bad, my bad.
Firefox, the problem with
Firefox
Firefox ESR is eventually it's going to get into Firefox ESR. You're just delaying the inevitable. You're kicking
Right.
the can down the road.
I mean, I hear you, but if they're so far behind in terms of like the way that because it's a slow roll for the enterprise.
Yeah.
Like, because we looked at deploying it in our environment, actually, it's such a slow roll. The only thing you get is security updates and like the web engine updates. So all of the features are at this point 9 versions behind.
Yeah, that might be a solution. Maybe I'll look at putting that on my Arch system. Now, there are 2 solutions that do exist. So if that new URL bar inspires loathing and hatred, and by the way, like, I'm not unusual in that, there are a lot of people pissed off about it. Like, it's causing people to leave Firefox, which is, to me, is weird. Or maybe it was just, what's that?
I don't even think they had to add picture to it. That is about the most other annoying
That
thing.
aggravates me to no end. Occasionally I accidentally get to it.
I was going to say, I actually like the picture-in-picture. I can pop out just the video window and leave the rest of the browser window somewhere else.
Yeah. There's an argument for it. But I didn't.
So is it the fact that the actual like separate search bar is gone?
Well, that's easy to add back in. You can go in and add the separate search bar back in. So, I mean, have you seen Firefox 77?
Huge. I don't understand.
Yeah. Have you seen Firefox 77?
I've got it right now.
Well, let's
Click on the URL bar. What does it look like?
I mean, it widens a little bit, but
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I definitely
it's
have
not
77.
obnoxious. It's just
Yeah. I am one of the many people. Maybe it's a weird experiment in human psyche or something. But literally, if you check on Reddit forums, like, everyone's losing their crap over this, including me. I mean, I just can't stand it.
Tom, I love you. I just can't get this upset about 4 pixels. I just can't.
I'm on a 76 and I have been blowing off going to 77 because my pep book has 77 on it and I don't like it.
All right.
Yeah.
So there are a few solutions. One of these is you can enable the user Chrome CSS, which basically will give you the ability to add a bunch of CSS coding ability, and then you can go and download an old style version, utilize this, and it's actually a fairly complicated setup, but you can actually get it back to that. There is actually another one that you can do, and I got to grab it in... Oh boy, I forgot to grab it. But basically we'll enable a developer mode. It was in the Discord server. We were talking about it. So, okay. So if you go in the about config, go to use browser URL bar, disable extend for tests. set that as a Boolean at true, and then browser URL bar max rich results, set that to 0. Then it will revert back to the original bar, although you will lose your search suggestions. But the thing that I think the reason I'm so frustrated about this is I don't want it to change. And what is the problem with leaving the option to revert it back? Why can they not leave the option to revert it back? That's my point.
Because they have too many people on the payroll.
Apparently.
Well, I was almost wondering if it's to be believed that Firefox only has 7% of the actual share of web browsers right now. I wonder if by doing this, they're trying to win more people over.
Well, the problem is they're going to lose all the people they already have because people are losing their crap about this.
That's where I was going to go, is that in doing this, because they have a diehard fan base, how many of them are going to leave for something else? I mean,
yeah.
We have this saying by the Communist Party of China, but at least it doesn't have an obnoxious web bar.
We have this saying in the business world: it is far less cheaper. It's far cheaper to keep the customers that you do have than to go out and get new ones.
Yeah, that is true.
Tell that to Google.
Google is just constantly discontinuing everything, just swapping everything.
Yeah.
Just doing whatever.
It's a failed project corpses. Yeah. That's all.
All right. You guys in the comments, let us know. Am I crazy for this, or are you with me, or is it you don't use Firefox? All right. We got one vote for I'm crazy. I mean, that's
you're crazy.
Well,
I still
don't
understand.
It's
okay.
I really don't.
Yeah.
I need to go look at the Reddit thread because I'm still not.
Go look at it. That's right. Mark, go ahead.
4 pixels is not. I mean, what you got to realize a lot with my clients, it's actually helpful for them to have that, and I'll run that browser, because when I'm telling them to type in a URL, oh my God, it can be painful at times. And one of my clients can't see good right now because she's had some eye issues. So having that little bit of extra 4 pixels there to enlarge that URL bar actually seems like a very useful feature. I would make it opt out or maybe opt in and not have that turned on by default, maybe, because most people are not going to like that. Maybe I like my stuff smaller on screen myself.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So, sure, I'm okay with it being an opt-out because it's not like a huge, holy crap, I have to
not
this
big
thing.
A deal. You kind of got to pick your heels to down.
Correct. But here's the thing. Why get rid of... I mean, there's 1,001 configuration options in Firefox. Why not just leave the ability to turn the thing off in there?
Too difficult to program?
Too difficult to not change it?
Maybe they need a welcome screen with step-by-step instructions when you first open it up. That, hey, you can use this, turn it off, turn it on.
Well, here's the thing.
Off, turn on.
When they first
pushed
this out in version 20 or in version 75, you could easily go in and toggle a button and it turned off.
Yeah.
They have gotten rid of that toggle button. It's not there anymore. That's the problem. They've killed the ability to revert it back to the way a lot of people apparently like it.
I was going to say, we've killed it easily. It looks like on the Reddit threads, they've got a solution. I mean, you have to change that. They have to, what was it, the Chrome CSS?
Oh, you know what they did? They put that underneath the spying technology in Firefox and found out how many people actually did turn it off. There's telemetry in there that's telling them, should we just dump the switch or shouldn't we?
Yeah,
that they're getting an idea based on. Yeah, I don't have an issue with that. If you want to see my configurations on my browser, it's not personally identifiable. It's just the company's getting a better idea of how users are using their browser. They have a clear idea on what features to implement.
That is a rude intrusion.
I still think that's problematic, but that's an issue for a different day, though, I think.
Yeah, but I
want to go back, though, and look at that CSS. Did you see how complicated it is to set up the CSS script?
Let me open this one back.
Yeah, it's complicated. It is not a basic user. Whereas about config toggle a button is a basic thing. So you need
The
to
one I'm
enable
looking
it.
at, no.
Yeah.
The one I'm looking at is literally like 14 lines long.
14
Like,
lines. Okay.
I'll
Yeah,
throw it.
Throw it in there for
the
me.
Google chat
Let me
here.
have a look.
I'll throw you
Oh
the
no
link, too.
okay.
Whoa.
This is just the CSS. That's not a big deal. How do you
Get rid
enable
of
that?
the new URL bar? So like,
Yeah, but
Yeah,
how
so
do you
what?
enable that is the question, because there's several steps to enable the ability to use user CSS.
Yeah.
The CSS code's simple. That's no big deal.
yeah,
It's the steps to enable the CSS is the problem.
The CSS
Yeah, that problem.
should be left alone. That's a
All right.
major sticking point for
Let me see if anybody's. Let me see if we have a consensus.
I don't know.
Let me see if we have a consensus. Am I crazy or is this a valid argument? I don't know. Rex dropped Firefox because of the political pandering, dropped Chrome because Google, and switched to forks for my daily drivers. There you go.
Still use Firefox.
Yeah, was a Firefox fanboy a decade ago. There you go. Hubert keeps using Firefox. Pale Moon is any good? Yeah, Pale Moon though is like, I mean, come on, that makes Firefox CSR look new. I occasionally use Netscape, but Cloudflare actively blocks it. Well, yeah.
I'm still on WaterFox 2002.
Pale Moon works. He's for specific sites, no issues with it, but it's not my first choice. There you go. The expanded Firefox URL hasn't bothered me. I'm much more bothered by the mobile universe that figured it out horizontal.
I gotta feed my dog. I'll be right back. I'm
right.
gonna bring it in this office because I'm on the phone too. So
All right. Sounds good.
I'll mute. Go ahead.
Let's see. Maybe Firefox doing the same as GNOME, limiting the user customizations or making it hard. They want you to use it as is. They think the huge URL bar is the future, I guess. How's it going, though, Joe? Greetings. Chromium leaks data to Google. All right. Enabling CSS is not something a new user would do. Yeah. Say something. I'm sorry. I'm late. Sorry. Brave Browser for the win. Yeah, maybe we'll get to Brave Browser next. All right. So we don't have a general consensus. So in general, I might be crazy. We pretty much have like 2 votes for I'm crazy and no votes for I'm not. So we'll just declare I'm nuts because we all knew that anyway.
For 2, which sways it in the direction of crazy.
I got used to it. Like it just Firefox automatically updates to most of my machines, especially on the Mac side and Windows, right? So at first it was definitely a weird experience. Then I just kept using it, and then it didn't really bother me that much.
And then the next thing that though a lot of people have a problem with too is it doesn't give you relevant terms to what you're typing. It gives you things based on your history, and some people will have a big problem with that.
I did disable the search history, so the URL doesn't actually pop up with random suggestions, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
that's still doable in 77, though, right?
Yeah,
I believe.
No problem.
Yeah, my solution completely kills the dropdown all the way. So. Currently in the process of changing from Linux Mint to Pop OS for web dev in one of my laptops. Is it a good idea, or does anyone agree or disagree? I don't say that Linux Mint or Pop OS is going to be specifically better or worse for web dev. It just more or less depends on your individual workflow. Crazy or not, address bar is huge. That's right. 4 pixels makes a lot. See, and maybe another factor is like I'm like a UI designer, and like I want the UI to look good and consistent. And when it suddenly becomes huge and out of alignment, it just it triggers OCD. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know.
I would prefer them to like do like Vivaldi does, where it just highlights the bar.
Yeah, that'd be
like
fine.
The URL bar. I would be much happier with that than like having it expand. But the expansion is not obnoxious. Like I don't get it. It's just like it just like as soon as you click out of it, it shrinks again.
Yeah, see, I'm okay. I'm okay if you click it, it changes all colors. That's awesome. That's fine. I'm no problem with that. Mr. Junkies, I got to put on the old guy voice for this one. You're not crazy. You're just a boomer like me. Young generation these days, they don't understand our criticisms.
You're not wrong, Mr. Junkies. You're not wrong.
No.
I don't understand.
All right. Should we jump on over to Brave, I guess?
Did we say everything bad about Firefox?
I think so. And for the record, guys, let's go ahead and say this now at the front end here, that I believe, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong, I believe that choosing your web browser is like voting for your presidential candidate. None of them are good. Vote for the guy that's going to destroy the world the least. Am I wrong on that, or is that good?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, probably the better choice.
All right.
I was actually gonna say,
Interesting.
I think Firefox.
Maybe I
actually
should have
is
gone
not
to
I'm the
trying to
opposite.
destroy
I
the
vote
site.
for all of them, so I have all of them installed.
All right.
Vote early and
So-
often, kids.
There you go. Yeah. Well, I'm going with a socialist utopia on my computer. I have all of them over here.
I'm gonna become my own autonomous zone.
Yeah, the only thing I don't have is I don't have Brave because for whatever reason, Yay keeps crashing my Arch system, and I can't get Brave out of the way on Arch. So that's the only one I don't have. I even have Dissenter over here, I think. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about Brave. So again, we had a video about this week. If you missed it, the Brave browser ran into a scandal this week where they were auto-completing affiliate links for certain sites. And the problem isn't that they had affiliates. In fact, even Vivaldi has affiliates. The problem is, A, they were auto-filling them, which I believe, looking at everything, is probably a mistake because several other affiliates were not auto-filling. But big problem, B, they were not disclosed. And on Vivaldi, they actually do have a disclosure notice about having affiliates and things like that. And so with that being said, they did get themselves into a little bit of a kerfuffle here. Techlore said on his video that he's going to stop using Brave personally. I'm not going to go and tell you to stop using it if you like it and you're using it. I'm just saying, hey, be aware of it. And maybe can I just get a tiny bit of neener, I told you, because I've always had issues with Brave. No.
Yep.
But, hey, maybe all of these weird things I've been saying are coming to fruition that I was actually on the right side a long time ago. I'll take the criticism in the heat of the moment. All right, I've been talking too long, you guys. Let's see. Mark, let's go ahead and go back to you. What do you got, Mark?
What was the question about it?
Oh, just any other thoughts about Brave, putting affiliates, anything like that on the Brave browser, or we'll pass.
I think it's paper cuts and it's little things that add up, and over the long term, you've got to really be transparent about stuff, because if you're doing stuff like that behind people's backs and not disclosing it, it's not a good look, and your end users will leave if you keep doing stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's not that big a deal. Just say, all you got to do is put a little notice up on the site saying, we do autocomplete, do affiliate marketing, and that helps us to run the business, and that's fine. But make that an opt-in or opt-out as well. We can just do toggle city over here, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Just be transparent and you're good.
All right. Dan, good.
I'm getting kind of a little miffed about all these little things too. That suppose we opt in and opt out for every little thing we put in our computer. I'm already starting getting the feeling that I'm getting irritated by this. I mean, it should be just shut off completely. If you want to opt in, you should just Google it or something like that and go out of your way to find out how to opt in.
Well, you know what? Let me address it this way. I actually I appreciate the way Firefox asks you on the first run about whether you want to enable telemetry. I wish it were more of an opt-in rather than an opt-out, but at least they give it to you. Because let's suppose you say, I use Brave, and I want to support Brave any way I can, and I'm okay if they're pushing affiliate links my way, and they disclose it. If I don't know, if it's an opt-in exclusive and I don't know about it, I may not even know it exists, and it doesn't serve its purpose. So I would be okay if there's a pop-up or pop on the bottom, whatever, the first time you load it that says, hey, we do have affiliate links here. You can toggle these on or toggle these off. Would you like to do that now? I think that'd be a better way to do it in all reality. But, just to say exclusive opt-in without giving you any notice about it, I think kind of defeats its purpose overall. But that's a thought. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I agree. I think absolutely everything should be opt-in. I think the default should be opt-out, and then if I want to give you my information, you should ask me for it, and I should comply.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, instead of just by default just collecting everything, and then it's already too late because they already collected everything. It's kind of
Well,
really easy to just
Yeah, most of us are kind of used to that because we're used to getting that because most of us came from Windows, the Windows world before we got to Linux. And you get a piece of software and anything that was free or anything like that had a checkbox and it would add an extension to your web browser like Ask or something. And most Windows users know that that's there when they see it and they uncheck it so they don't get that.
Yeah.
I don't know if most Windows users do.
I mean, most
computer
of us
guys
came
who use
from Windows. The newer ones, probably not. The old school ones, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But as for Brave Browser, I did try Brave Browser, but it wasn't appealing to me. It's just a bunch of extra features that I don't need. I just need a browser that connects to the internet. I don't need something that has just a bunch of advanced features that I just don't need. And Brave has a bunch of it.
There might be a browser for you then. If you guys didn't notice, somebody took Brave and they forked it into one called Braver. Which is Brave without the crap. Yeah.
Yes, it was on Telegram this week.
Mark, your volume is really low. Can you turn your volume up?
Oh, yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so Braver, and I haven't had a chance to look at Braver yet, but that's the case. Mark, say something. See if you're checked. You there?
See. No, go ahead. I was just confirming. Yeah, I saw that.
That's a little better. Yep, that's a little better.
I'll fix it.
Okay. Let's see. We got Sleepy's on. How's it going there, Sleepy? Must be at work. Greetings, Joe. How's it going there, Mr. Joe? Your screen keyboard and the address bar more often than not covers it. There you go. Okay. One of the best things going for Firefox is containers. There you go. Irony is Tom's too young to be a boomer. That's very possibly true. I'm certainly not a boomer generation, but I ain't no spring chicken either. So.
I get the boomer comment all the time. I'm like, I'll give you a darn boomer.
A shotgun on the porch. I got a boomer for you.
Yeah. I got a big boomer. Buffy Foster, the ads on that page. Yeah, there were some funky ads on that page. That's for sure. That's why I turned it off, man. It's kind of crazy. Let's see. Bully. That's right. See, which is still my first browser of choice. I really don't have a first. I use different browsers for different purposes. So on this computer here, Chromium is what stays logged into YouTube. I have the hardened Firefox for weird and random stuff, and I have WaterFox for general purpose. On my Arch system, I think I use Firefox hardened for general purpose. I have WaterFox for YouTube, and Chromium actually is used for my other YouTube channel. So
I'm kind of similar.
Yeah. So it just kind of depends.
Yeah, I do use Firefox quite a lot. That's my main browser for almost anything. But from time to time, I do go to Safari just for some very specific things. Right, in case the Firefox doesn't work properly, or I just need to do something that's not really related to anything else. I just use Safari, and then sometimes I use like Chromium if ever I need to. Usually I use Firefox, but in specific cases I use the other browsers.
Let's see. I had a question about is GNOME being racist? I'm not seeing anything about GNOME being racist in our current situation, although there is something from a satirical group about it, apparently, but I think that would be satire.
George Bullsvert in chat was being satirical when he said there's a CCleaner browser, and he's not wrong. There is.
A CCleaner browser? I would not use the CCleaner browser.
I know, right?
This
thing looks like. Have you all heard of Komodo Security, like with the K?
Yes.
And they make that browser called Komodo Dragon.
Okay, it's CCleaner browser.
Like. Yeah. I'll send you a link to it.
Let me see
Years
if I can
ago,
just
they
find
used
it.
to actually be trustworthy, and they started doing some shady crap and adding all that add-on junk.
Oh yes,
God, I
CCleaner
found
and
it.
Komodo both. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, this is. I mean,
C
CCleaner used to be fine, but it says no ads, no tracking, no junk, built-in security. Yeah, no belief over here. Being that
obviously
CCleaner
not
itself
the CCleaner
is.
program.
Yeah, but yeah,
No
no, there's.
way.
I mean, but
version though offers their browser instead of Chrome. I would be interested to find that out.
yeah, if what again?
CCleaner does do some tracking and some basic.
So we have
level
ad blocker, anti-tracking, anti-fingerprinting. I mean, in theory, it's good. You know what we need to do? We need someone like QuidSub to comment on this, who actually knows how to check for the security. I would love to see QuidSub argue this. If anybody knows QuidSub better than I do, send him a message. Ask him to look at the CCleaner browser. I'm genuinely curious about it, but I don't know enough about the security stuff to tell you if it's really doing what it says.
I can tell you they probably use, just based on my use of it over the years, they probably, well, I know they use Google tracking. They probably do Facebook analytics and the usual.
Yeah.
They're probably data mining out the wazoo, and they do now run it as a service in the background when you install it.
Yeah.
Without
That's
giving
what I
you
hate.
that option. So that actually takes up quite a bit of system resources, especially more so on an older machine.
Yeah,
But it is much
need
more
that.
heavy now, and it doesn't do quite a good a job as cleaning as it once was.
I did remember something else about Firefox. They are now adding, and you guys tell me if you think this is a good idea or a bad idea. They are adding ability to export in plain text all of your saved logins.
I would be worried that could get exploited.
Well, I just disable.
I would really be worried that somebody's going to be like, "Oh, it's open source. Well, I'll just hack the code here and figure out how to run that decryption program, and then just spit out all your passwords."
So I don't know if this is good or bad yet. It's brand stinking new. I'm not even sure it's rolled out yet.
Disable it. I disabled the login
Yeah.
password thing.
Yeah,
I just disabled it completely because no matter which browser, you do not want your passwords to just be in a browser right next to the most dangerous place.
Yeah.
That you can be attacked.
H asks,
it's laying right next to the Ethernet wires.
Yeah.
Ooh, sniff, sniff, sniff.
They have time and again issues with autofills.
H asks about the
Google
fork
Chrome
of
was
Brave's
guilty
name.
of that as
That is the Braver browser. It's called Braver. Just add an R to the end there. There is, although, another fork of the Brave browser, and that is the Dissenter browser, which is basically Brave. They stripped the BAT tokens out of it, and they've actually added the Dissenter plugin from Gab. So it's actually a browser from Gab. It's called Dissenter.
So what is Dissenter? Like the Dissenter plugin, I mean.
So the Dissenter plugin, this is if you ask certain populations of the world, they say it's all a plugin for white supremacists and stuff. It basically allows you to add a comment thread on any web page on the internet. But of course, you have to have the Dissenter to see it. So what happens is a little bit of a security issue in that every Dissenter client that's using it, which you can get it as a plugin or you can use the Dissenter browser. So what happens is when you load up a web page, there's a Dissenter queue to it, and anybody around the world can go in and post a comment on that page, but only the people with Dissenter will be able to see the comments. It's a service from Gab. So, of course, everybody who's not on Gab says it's just a bunch of places for, mid-1940s German soldiers and bald white guys, apparently. So, for whatever that's worth, wherever you sit on the side, but that's indeed what it is. So the Dissenter browser is basically Brave, Batcoins taken out with the Dissenter plugin put in by default. So, let's see. Firefox is crashing. Oh no. Thought Braver was a troll thing. I don't know. Is it a troll thing? Is it a troll thing? I saw a link for it jump up, but I didn't check if it was satirical.
I thought it was legit. I'll look real quick. Here's what looks like a troll thing to me is this UC browser. This thing looks jank.
Which one? Which browser?
UC browser.
UC?
Yeah.
Universal China.
So Derek from DistroTube covered the gnome racist stuff lately. All right, I'll have to look into that. That's all I need. I mean, did you guys see today? Magic the Gathering apparently is racist. They're banning several cards. If you're unaware of the game, if you're aware of the game, they banned Crusade. Give all white creatures +1/+1, but they didn't ban Bad Moon. Give all black creatures +1/+1. Go figure.
So every browser that comes from China, definitely I wouldn't trust it.
Yeah.
But even still, other browsers might still be sketchy. But at least that's the first sign of which country it comes from and what are the laws that they have to comply.
You won't trust a browser that comes from China, but you will trust a smartphone or any other electronic gadget that comes from there.
Here's the thing about
this is the bad thing about it, you know.
Yeah, well, let me just clarify this. The concern with any Chinese browser is that the fact that any Chinese-owned company, they have it written into the laws that company must have representatives from the Communist Party in the company to make sure they're complying with the Communist Party's rules. That's the concern. It's not that it's Chinese, it's that the rules governing that company are the concern. So if you can construct an iPhone or Samsung or whatever and send it over here to the US, because they're not Chinese-owned companies, they do not have to comply with that kind of law. So you're not necessarily sending all of your information back to the Communist Party. That's the concern.
So we are told.
Well,
at some point in time, you have to take a little bit of trust in place. Otherwise, we just put ourselves in a padded cell and bash our head against the wall repeatedly. So. How about a Linux phone made in the U.S.? Well, I mean, there is one. It just costs $2,000 and doesn't make phone calls. So
I was about to say, if you think MacBooks are expensive,
that would be there's a Librem 5 version of the phone that's $2,000, but it's supposed to be made in USA. So, all right. I think I had one more browser to chat about briefly, and then we'll open it to any other browsers you guys want to talk about. Of course, another one that we did cover in the news recently, this came down as I called it the world's stupidest lawsuits. Google is the target of a lawsuit demanding billions for alleged Chrome browser violations. The guy is suing because if you boot up your Chrome browser, it still can track you.
Welcome, Leon.
If you boot up a Chrome browser, it tells you on the loading screen it can track you. Okay, just so in case you're unaware, incognito mode or privacy mode on Firefox or any other mode like this, all that means is that the computer is not storing a list of what you're going to. Okay, it doesn't prevent the ad trackers from following you along or things like that.
Yeah, so here's the thing, though. On the internet, there's a lot of people that think that incognito mode actually does something to protect them.
Yeah.
A lot of people believe it.
That's
a
stupid user problem, not a legal matter.
Yeah, they do a lot of stupid things on that.
Hold on. Guys, is it Lenny or Lonnie? I forget how to pronounce it.
Leonie. Do you want to hear why Chrome is also a cool thing of malware?
Sure.
So there's this Chrome updater service, basically, in most of the Windows things of Chrome. And even if you have Chrome closed, it still sends your IP address periodically to Google servers, which is, very intrusive in things of privacy.
Yeah, and that's the problem. That's why, I have to have Chrome installed on a couple computers here and there for testing purposes, but I do not use it unless I absolutely have to. For that reason, I mean, I do not trust Google for a lot. So, there's a few things that, obviously I've used Google services for a few things like, YouTube and things like that. But I don't want to use their browser.
Yeah, and Hangouts.
Yeah. Tor Browser was mentioned here a few times. That wasn't on my original list, but Tor Browser, that's an excellent one. So the Tor Browser will allow you to browse on Tor, and it's basically a Firefox build, a super hardened Firefox build that accesses the network through the Tor network, through the Onion project. So,
Tor Browser is really painfully slow on my system.
Yes, it can be slow.
You got to have internet speed that is at gigabyte level.
It's not that. It's the fact that it bounces through 3 different legal jurisdictions to provide you resources.
Right.
Well, I did use it in the past and a few times just to test it and see what it was. But other than that, the internet speeds aren't that bad, especially on DSL. It's just depending on the connection, and usually you might have to reconnect to different places in order to get the best internet connection possible. So it's a 50-50 type of thing. You never know what you're going to get.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tor's good. Particularly if you need to look up, that strange foot fungus growing on your foot or some other weird stuff like that. If you don't want to do that through the ClearNet, use Tor for that. I'm getting
why do I have an orange toe?
Apologies. All right. Other browsers. I'll leave the floor open to you guys. Discuss some other browsers. Oh, we can talk about Firefox too.
What is the progress on Firefox? Which way is that going?
Well, Firefox is now it is officially now listed as a project of System 1. That makes me concerned. Now, Startpage is not specifically a project of System 1. Startpage is an affiliate. They work together in some areas, but Startpage is still a separate entity. I'm still gathering questions and data. I'm going to be talking to some Startpage folks here in the next couple weeks. Was tasked to get some questions to ask them about their affiliation with System 1, and so we're going to be doing that. But Firefox is actually listed as a project therein. The problem that I have with System 1 is if you go in and actually read their privacy policy, they're very clear about what they're doing. They are gathering any bit of data, and they are supplementing that data with things that you can purchase from credit agencies, from other data miners, other data brokers, and they are building the most accurate profile of anybody and everything on their platform.
Yeah.
That is officially a project of theirs at this point in time. And so while I'm a little bit more inclined to trust Startpage, I'm a lot less inclined right now to trust Firefox. That being said, I am still using Firefox on some platforms right now.
Okay, so
yeah, we're like the last two.
Yeah.
The dust, yeah.
So does this mean that Google would be any more trustworthy than Startpage? They're like equal level because they're collecting information in a way.
No. Okay, you misunderstand. Startpage does not collect the information. They are a completely separate entity from System 1.
Right.
It's just that System 1 has made an investment in Startpage.
Okay, yeah.
They've released the data models such that privacytools.io has relisted Startpage with a warning notice because they have released all their code and information that suggests that there is a big data wall between what Startpage servers can access and what System 1 servers can access. So Startpage does not seem to have any risk of sharing data. But comparing Google Chrome to Firefox in the upcoming versions, that is a comparison we could possibly start to look into.
Okay, yeah.
That's my understanding.
My main complaint about Startpage is actually that they kind of dual boot with two servers on two different locations, one in the US and one in the Netherlands, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's kind of concerning to me since I don't know if it's for speed or if it's just so they can evade GDPR rules in the US. So I'm not quite sure about that.
Okay.
I know that Europe has more strict privacy laws than the US, but yeah, I'm not sure if it's either for speed or if they're just trying to evade some privacy things that are different from the US and the EU.
Okay. I'm going to write that down.
So that's my main concern about Startpage, actually.
Yeah, I'm going to write that down and I'll ask them about it.
But other than that, Startpage, I'm using both DuckDuckGo and Startpage and a little bit of Google because for very specific things, I still have to use Google because of the search results. Like if you compare DuckDuckGo to Startpage, there's definitely some differences. Now, as for browsers, I just use whatever browser that makes most sense, but I use Firefox as my primary browser.
Okay. Yeah, I absolutely don't like the results I get on DuckDuckGo at all. Like, I did never find good results on DuckDuckGo. So I still use Startpage a lot. But
Yeah.
what are my thoughts on content providers getting paid? Content providers meaning like YouTubers, or content providers meaning content creators getting paid? Hey, obviously I'm a little for it. No. No, but I think that yeah, content creators, as long as we are upfront and clear and honest about how we get paid, where the sources are, I think that is a valid thing. I mean, that's my thought, because frankly, this takes a lot of time and it's like a job, you know.
Yeah, I'm totally okay with content creators getting paid. What I'm not okay with is going to a content creator's website and them having, 17 other like trackers in the background that are trying to fingerprint my browser so they can throw ads at me. Like,
so I should turn that off, huh?
Well, that's why I run NoScript. So
yeah.
Yep.
No, and I do. I mean, my Switch to Linux website does run Google Ads on it, but I do have my Google Ads set to not do demographic data and things like that. So I set it as like that, with ad blocking. So Vince clarifies, with ad blocking and things. I don't do anything. Like, if you come to my site with an ad blocker, I don't care. I'm not bothered.
I just don't like the invasive ads that pop up and block the content that you're trying to get to.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to exit out, at least let me exit out of it real easy, one click. Show me the X button, make it, that I don't really like them to even block.
Yeah, like them big long bars that pop up in the middle of your video while you're trying to watch it.
Yes.
Very seldom do I visit sites like that anyway, but still.
Yeah, I can't stand it. Particularly, it's like, you're running an ad blocker. Like, yeah. And if you want to annoy me about it, then I just won't come back at all. So,
Yeah, exactly.
Firefox, Opera, Brave, I think. Like, most of the major browsers are starting to put built-in ad blockers. Like, Opera definitely has an ad blocker, and then Brave has also ad blocker. But
there's always a CCleaner browser too.
Yeah, so every major web browser are starting to put ad blocks and everything, but it doesn't mean that it actually does its job. It just might be like a false sense of security, right? It doesn't actually do much. Well, usually, especially with Opera, they're doing stuff in the background, even though there's an ad blocker, and it's just a false sense of security, as I like to call it. Because I noticed how every browser is starting to put more ad blocking software and protection and stuff. Like, even Microsoft Edge, they're talking about more protection and making sure you're safe on the internet. But what does it actually do?
Yeah, oftentimes that just means that we're collecting a series of websites that we want you to go to, and if we don't want you to go into it, we'll block that and call it bad.
Yeah.
Right. I had it on for a little while just to see how it did. It does good. I actually have it on right now. I'm getting ready to turn it off because I was trying to reduce the amount of extensions that I use, because but you're like hopping in one frying pan and into the other. What is the point? The frog's still boiling in a pot. It may be a different pot, but it's still a boiled frog in a pot.
But the frog's getting around.
Frog's becoming frog legs.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's hard to know what they're doing, as far as analytics. That's probably an easy way for them to collect all your browsing history. And sometimes, like, I'm logging in the sites that are from my clients, and I don't really, you shouldn't mind your own damn business. This is my work. I don't want you doing that. You know what I mean? As a browser.
Yeah, my biggest concern with Edge, and I really need to see what Edge looks like, because obviously it's not up for Linux yet. I keep on keeping an eye on it. But my biggest concern with the Google browser is wanting to auto log you in. So if you log into any Google service, it'll automatically and perpetually keep you logged into the browser, which will store all of your cookies on their platforms and things like that. That in and of itself is problematic. And I'm curious if Microsoft is going to use that same service to keep you perpetually logged into your Microsoft account, and therefore perpetually. Does it do that? Is it? Yeah, and that's therefore it's storing all that data. Is that,
they changed it in Chrome. If you log into Gmail or something, you will get asked first if you want to sync up your Chrome data to Google before that. So they recently changed that, like in
do you know
five
when
major
that was changed?
versions ago, since people complained about it.
Well, I know when people started complaining about it, they gave you an option to turn it off. I didn't hear anything about it being opt-in now, but I don't know since I don't use Chrome. So
yeah. So other than that, that was a good discussion about browsers and stuff. But like, we could talk for hours about browsers, and
probably,
none of them would be one of the best. Like, there's not one that everyone can use and be happy with it.
So
because everybody has different views.
We're gonna throw this out. Vince has a good question here. Is there any way anybody knows of to use an ad blocker that will allow you to unblock some channels and block some other ones? So in other words, unblock some channels you want to support the content creators and keep other ones blocked. Anybody have an idea for that?
uBlock Origin?
I don't know.
I think uBlock has something built in for that.
Okay, so check uBlock Origin then, I guess.
Yeah,
it has the add-on.
Will let you cut it off.
Hey, Mark, your volume is way too low again. We can not hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that better? I was holding it way too far from my mouth. Is that any better?
That's a little bit better. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I think my interface is about to give out finally, and I may have damaged my microphone. I accidentally halfway dropped it a couple of times. That's the thing with these condenser mics.
Yeah.
Luckily, this one's cheap. It's easy to replace. But anyway, are you getting at... Now, you said specifically creators. I know that uBlock Origin has like an on and off switch you can do for certain sites and things. But that's more of like a site-wide thing.
Yeah.
You piqued my curiosity when you say certain creators you want to support.
Yeah.
That would be like something that could integrate within YouTube or other social networks to where you could like, I don't know exactly how that would play out. I know like in social media with not video oriented like Twitter and stuff, you can do things to, guard your privacy, and you can like choose to accept and be notified of content from somebody, but like, it would be good if there was something, specifically for YouTube and BitChute or what have you, library, to specifically allow all content from certain creators, and maybe like a drop-down list of, this is the type of information I want to see on this creator, and yes, I do want to see their stuff when they post. And maybe these creators I care about a little less, and maybe not see stuff from these creators, and I'll just go to it manually, if that makes any sense. Is that kind of what you're looking for?
I mean, I don't know. There's a few ideas about uBlock might be able to do it or not, so I'm not sure which direction where that is. Leonie, did you have something to say about it too?
Huh? What?
Did you have something to say about it too? I think you and Mark started talking at the same time.
Yeah, I have to say something about monetarization in general on the internet.
Yeah.
And my thing is, yesterday I came to the conclusion that it's the whole ad blocking and ads thing and sponsoring thing is a complete cat and mouse game. For example, there's this this anti-ad block blocker, I think, which kind of tries to disable, and then the people, the ad companies fought back and said, okay, then let's make an anti-ad block thing. And I was, okay, this is exactly a cat and mouse game.
Yeah.
And the other thing, there's an add-on called Sponsor Block, which completely removes sponsored clips from videos. You can, of course, not skip it. You have the option, of course, to disable this skipping thing.
Yeah.
But that's my main complaint. Is just if everybody has an ad blocker and sponsor blocker and all these kind of things, I think the only monetization option which is completely viable is having crowdfunding like Patreon, Ko-fi, and etc.
And affiliate links as well. We could do affiliate links.
Yeah,
we can do
affiliate links as
crowdfunding.
well. If people want to shop.
Although a lot of affiliate links, like some of your bigger affiliate link companies, they're very aggressive about being blocked by the ad blockers as well. So, like, is it Rakuten Marketing, which I do have affiliate links for, but I rarely ever use them, and I'm not sure they've ever actually paid me anything because they're blocked by like every ad blocker because they're annoying as all get out. I can't stand them. But they're the only one I have that'll do affiliates through like Kobo Books and things like that, and they also support Walmart
and merchandise.
Yeah, merchandise is another one as well.
The user gets something. And
I have a fun proposal here. Since we've crossed my 8 o'clock mark and I stream again at 9 o'clock on my other channel, I think maybe we should spend a whole week on monetization next time. What do you think? Monetization, ads, ad blocking, stuff like that. What do you guys think?
Yeah, actually talk about a whole bunch of different tools and stuff. That would make sense. Just have a
The
whole
truth
week
is, I know very little about it.
I think I can say a couple of things about it, really.
Well, yeah, the only thing I know about it is what other YouTubes have actually done a YouTube segment on how their YouTube channel works and how they get their income. That's the only thing I really know about.
But what we're talking about, though, is you can talk about ad blockers and things like that, though, right? You can talk about your experience on the internet with people trying to collect money.
Yeah,
so that's kind of what we want to talk about. I think that'd be a good one for next week because we can talk about this for a whole nother hour. And like I said, I'm streaming again in 1 hour on my other channel. So I propose we kind of call a final closing on this one, and then we'll pick up right about here next week and discuss ad blocking on the internet, supporting content creators, and that'll give us a week to see if we can find a way to support some content creators and not others. That might be neat. So we'll do that. I'm going to find a link for my other stream for anybody that might be interested in that. So Dan, we'll start with you. Give us your final thoughts, and we'll go in a row here.
My final thoughts is use the browser that you're most comfortable with. You can, I'd recommend doing research on your browser before you actually commit to keeping it. I use 3 web browsers. To avoid using any Chrome or Chromium product, I use Vivaldi, and it fills in that place for Hangouts and stuff like that just fine. Like Tom, I still use Waterfox, even though it's getting kind of old. It does a pretty good job of general, web browsing and YouTubing. But I use Firefox to do all my my Netflix, my Hulu, my Amazon, everything that requires the DNR encryption key, because that doesn't work in Waterfox. So that's how I would play the game. And I'd recommend anybody that's going to choose a browser to take a look at it and get to know it a little better.
I figured out, Dan, by the way, YouTube just changed their front end so that it'll show you just uploads by default instead of showing you all videos by default. So I actually have to go in and change the toggle button to find my next upcoming video. So they literally, when I set on my channel a video scheduled for a live show later on, it doesn't show up unless you actually go in and manually change the toggle. That's why YouTube keeps breaking stuff. It's really annoying.
It's different for every content creator too. Their whole layout of their main page is all jumbled up from one person to another.
Well, you can change some of that, but they just messed around with a bunch of it, so I guess it broke it all. Anyway, Leone, you're up next. Final thoughts.
My final thoughts. I think the internet in itself is a cool thing, but it's actually the kind of normie internet, as I call it, which is kind of getting in its way, especially the things like having the choice of a couple of thousand browsers, half of which are just Chrome. And it's just getting messy, and this is actually the reason why I like Gopher so much, the alternative to HTTP and HTML and all that garbage, because it doesn't have a script tag. It's just text and images maximum, and that's all I need for the internet. Yeah, but it's kind of like the same discussion about what the 2020 internet is looking like, and yeah, that's all my things I have to say. Also, small question: which time zone are you in?
I'm in the Eastern time zone, so it's 8 o'clock right now where I'm at.
Ah, thank you.
Tech, final words.
I like Firefox because it's not Chrome, it's not Microsoft, and it's not using the Chromium engine. You make a really good hardening video that I have followed, so I've gotten my Firefox hardened, and I use uBlock Origin and NoScript on top of it, and HTTPS everywhere. So I didn't know about Gopher though. I might just look into this now. So thank you, Leonie.
DT did a good video on it a while back now, so you can have a look at what he says about it.
All right, I might go investigate that. But yeah, Firefox is my go-to, and then Vivaldi is my backup.
Yeah. Are you World of Linux now or World of Unix? What are you now? World of whatever. Go for it.
World of Unix.
Okay.
So I use Firefox as my primary web browser. I use it almost all the time. But I install Firefox on everything. All right, no matter if it's on Windows, Mac OS, Linux, I just install it. And I also have my own configurations that I'm able to harden Firefox, put a lot of add-ons, disable a lot of things in Firefox that makes it less secure, like remove logins. Every time that I close Firefox, it deletes all the history and stuff, just to make sure Firefox is actually good for me. But I do use other browsers. So Safari, if I need it, which isn't Chrome, but Safari isn't the best browser, but it does its job for very specific websites that I do need some stuff. I also use Tor Browser from time to time, just to test some things. Then I also have Brave, which I did use it, but I'm not really using it anymore, and I'm mostly just using a bunch of different browsers, and there's not one that I can recommend for everyone, really. So yeah, that's my final thoughts of just everything that I'm using.
So I went ahead and dropped my link to my next stream over there. So that's on my Christian site. We'll be looking at 2 Peter chapter 2, 11 to 19. So if you are interested in such things, you can head on over there. If you are not interested in such things, just come on back to this channel tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will be doing the news tomorrow. So with that, we will catch you guys next time.